Hello there. Did you know that in much of the UK there is no legal requirement for letting agents to be either trained or licensed? It's actually a pretty scary thought when you consider how heavily landlords and tenants rely on their letting agent and the huge sums of money the agent handles on their behalf. However, this doesn't mean the lettings industry is unregulated. Far from it, in fact. There are a raft of rules agents have to abide by, and I'm going to get into that in a moment so you know what to look out for. But one really easy way that you can be confident that the agent you're dealing with is operating legally and ethically is to look for the Propertymark logo. This means the letting agent has voluntarily signed up to higher industry standards and training. And this is important because letting agents play a crucial role in the rental market. They act as intermediaries between tenants and landlords, advertise and market properties for landlords, collect the rent and manage any maintenance issues. In Scotland, lettings agents must have an official registration number, which is part of a scheme to improve standards there. In Wales, letting agents need to be trained and hold a Rent Smart Wales licence. However, in England and Northern Ireland, there's no official requirement for letting agents to be either trained or licensed. And that's why many agents choose to get professional qualifications by becoming members of Propertymark. In fact, it was Propertymark itself that campaigned for all agents in Britain to be legally obliged to have client money protection. This is a kind of insurance that provides financial protection for landlords and tenants if the agent misappropriates their money. By the way, this is not yet a legal requirement in Northern Ireland. Another important form of financial protection is the Tenancy deposit scheme. Well, this is a kind of independent body that holds the deposit money on behalf of the tenant and ensures it is returned at the end of the tenancy, providing, of course, the tenant hasn't caused any damage to the property or defaulted on rent payments along the way. By law, lettings agents must also register with a government-approved scheme which provides an independent resolution service in cases of any disputes between landlords and tenants. And that's not all. Letting agents collect a lot of sensitive information about prospective tenants, so it's essential that you know this information will be kept safe. All agents are required to comply with the Data Protection Act, which means they have to be open about how they collect and how they use your personal data, with a published privacy policy and the right to see the data they hold about you as well. Although letting agents are instructed by the landlord and must therefore act in their interest, they do have a duty of care to their tenants as well. If you're renting, the letting agent must communicate with you clearly, respond to queries or requests promptly, and provide you with accurate information about the property you're renting. This includes the rental price, the council tax and energy rating, and details of the tenancy conditions and the deposit protection scheme. You should also be provided with any safety certificates, as well as the government's How to Rent guide before you move in. If the agent, landlord, or contractor needs to visit the property, they should give you at least 24 hours notice, unless it's emergency, of course. It's also the lettings agent's responsibility to make sure the property is well maintained and that any repairs or maintenance issues are addressed as promptly as possible, particularly when it comes to gas, electrical, and fire safety checks. If your landlord or letting agent doesn't meet their obligations, then your local council can force them to do so. Of course, this is a last resort. Renting via a responsible agent is actually the best way to ensure that your rental goes smoothly. When the tenancy is up, the agent should return your deposit promptly. If there's a dispute over an amount less than the whole deposit, then they should return the remaining amount as soon as possible. As I mentioned at the start, letting agents in England and Northern Ireland are largely unregulated, unless they're a member of the professional body Propertymark. Then they are required to stick to a strict code of conduct, which includes not only complying with all the regulations, but providing high levels of customer service and professionalism. To be a member of Propertymark means passing rigorous qualification exams, committing to continuing professional development, and signing up to the Propertymark Code of Conduct. So it's good news. It's reassurance for both landlords and tenants. Now, to find your local Propertymark letting agent, look for the logo that all Propertymark members display, or click the link with this episode to find your local lettings agent in a matter of seconds. Also, of course, please do make sure you subscribe to this channel and join me next time for much more insider info on all things property related. Thanks for watching.